Okay. Namaste and welcome everybody to another episode of Rooted in Roaming podcast where we discuss Indian American perspective. My name is Avtans Kumar, and with me I have Neerav Patelji and Amita Mittalji. And we are honored to have our guest today on the show, Neil Khot ji, who is running for the primary in the Congressional District 7 of Illinois.
Eight.
Sorry,
Eight.
8 of Illinois. And before we start our show, I just want to also mention that this is a joint venture of Bharat TV and India Abroad. So please like and subscribe to this podcast. And welcome, Neil ji, to our show. So tell us about
Thank you.
yourself.
Thank you so much for having me on this show. Very proud and honored to be part of this. Um, a little bit about me. I was born in a city called Belgaum in India. Came here at the age of 22 and landed in Arkansas, Fayetteville, worked there for Walmart. And from there, I worked for Lucent Technologies. And from there, I moved to Chicago, and that's been my home. So almost close to 30 years in Chicago. And this is my home. And in my home, the two most important things were, just as most of our Indians, would be education and respect for elders. So with that foundation, got a degree and came here with that degree, and that's from there founded many small businesses, created more than 200 jobs in the district, created global companies, and have been part of various nonprofits, try to help be a part of a community 15, 20 years. Whatever we can give back, help them in any possible shape and form has been part of my journey, along with creating and being a businessman, a small business entrepreneur. I have an 11-year-old son who is growing up here and a mother who is 77-year-old. And my fight is for them. And through their journey, my fight is for my other seniors and other young children and their grandkids and the kids. I want to represent our district and at the national level, our community, so that we can help them as a person who can effect change. I'm not a career politician. I want to give back to the community that gave me everything. And that's a little bit brief about me. I'm endorsed currently by many organizations such as A4H, Americans for Hindu. I've been endorsed by a few congressmen, Danny K. Davis, Sri Tanedar. Locally, we got endorsements from the mayors, a few mayors, and then all the people from the district and from our community has been a strong supporter to me. And I'm very proud and honored to represent them. And as our current congressman moves from congressman to become a senator, that's an open seat. We do understand we are a minority community, 1% of the country, paying 6% of the taxes. I think we need representation in the Samosa caucus, and we want to make sure that we continue to grow that.
So, Neil, I'm coming to a small question to you. It's a, everybody knows everybody want to know in the district. What inspired you to enter in the electoral politics?
A very good question. It was not a part of my journey. I was very happy running my businesses. I was very happy with my life that was going on. But around same time last year, when the seat for Raja started opening, the community got together, and starting with Dr. Bharat Barai and others, they started asking who is the right person to represent this community. And they did approach me. We did have a conversation. I said, I need some time. Let me ask my wife and my son, if because this is not an easy job. This is not an easy run, as what one would understand from the outside. It is a real sacrifice, real hard work, a real dedication. And then because of the fact that I was helping or working within the community for last a decade and a half, the decision became a little more easier that I can represent you. I can take on the mantle to 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 be there where others cannot stand, and where we need a representation, I can be there. And that's how this journey started. Uh, and then as I started going more into it, the first few months were completely life upside down. And from there, we understood that this is a real service. And then it started becoming much more easier as you started meeting more and more people. So now it became finally that it is time to give back. It is time to serve the community at a different level. So that's how this journey started to be realistic.
Okay.
So, Neilji, you are from a business background, IT background. What do you think is as we see for last few months, we have seen a lot of hate towards Indian immigrants, immigrants in general, but in particular Indian immigrants, H1 visa, H1B visa. What is your opinion about that? Or what is your take on that things?
So I believe the current administration has not only singled out whether it's an H1 visas, but they have singled or targeted as much as possible immigrant communities across the board, whether it is an Hispanic community, whether it is the Black community, and in fact, not even they have not even left the white citizens from the country has been also under torture. So yes, in particular to H1 and the H1Bs that are currently getting, I think it's completely unfair. It is something that they were invited in the country. They came with their credentials in the country. And this is one of the communities that actually are in the highest job paying brackets and in the highest tax paying part of the professional workforce. And I believe the last 2 decades, if you consider the H1 visa's contribution to the country, whether it was a medical visa for a dentist or a doctor, or whether it was a visa for technology and IT professionals, I think they just made our country much more better, a globally competitive country in the world. Otherwise, I do not believe the foundation of AI was laid by the people coming back from H1. I think we would ignore it, but I think we should recognize that the foundation for AI is being built based on the backs of the H1 workers who came here. Yes, today we can easily criticize, and I don't support that. I don't support the raising of the fees. You're essentially cutting for, as they say, for keeping your nose, you're cutting your hands for the pride of what you want to try to achieve politically. Uh, I think we should be, in fact, welcoming just as other countries in the world, whether it is Canada, Australia, Germany, they are giving people from around the world red carpet. If you are a professional, you can add to the country. They want you to come. They, in fact, want you to give, in fact, money to stay there. They will give you a home. And we are not setting a good example, not just to our future generation, but for the world, where America is always looked up as a beacon of hope, a land of free, and brave. I think I would stand up to the current policy that has been laid down. It is not just helping. It is uh, trying to cut your future that is going to be technology, is going to be the future of the country, where we should rather be exporting that technology. And rather than that, we are playing politics. I think it will hurt us in the long run if we don't stop it, or we don't change our view towards that policy.
Uh, Neilji, I wanted to go to a very other important question. This is in hot news. The citizens have a right to vote, and now there is this voter ID Save Act. Uh, what are your thoughts on that? How do you think that is it a hindrance, or is this actually protecting the democracy like the way it has been presented by the current administration? Where do you stand on the voter ID law or Save Act?
So if you just look at it in a very microscopic lens, just on that act, I think it would not give you the background about from which it started from. So let's look at the mindset that's going around. So the first started was driving the immigrants out of the country, creating scare tactics. So we started with that. Then the administration started saying, let's do gerrymandering in the middle of the 10-year gap. Let's change some states. I'm not saying that gerrymandering is not happening, but it never happened in the middle of a cycle or middle of a census, right? Middle of a 10-year period. And now it's up to the SAVE Act and asking people for proof of citizenship for people who have been here in the country for many years. So I think it is just many more tactics that the current administration is using to see if it can continue to grow its voter base more than really focused on the Save Act or the real citizens to vote, or whether it is to see that the rightful people can vote. Yes, there would definitely be a percentage of wrong voters. There would be definitely a percentage of voters that are not eligible, that could have gone or passed through the system. In any part and any place in the world, it happens. But I think just a blanket way of curbing that, I think it will just be, it's another way of voter suppression, saying that just let's take out this side of voter suppression. So I think it needs to be carefully crafted out, because you can balancely find and say the current voter registration allows you to challenge anybody's the promise that they give. It's called an affidavit that you are a citizen. It is based on a driver license, it is based on a social security card, and then on an affidavit. So if you have falsely given a wrong affidavit that you are a citizen, then I think they can particularly carve out those many people and take it out versus a blanket, let's redo this act. That would be my
Thank you.
Neilji, how you will help if you become the congressman? How will you help the small business of the 8th district, and also make it the affordability to the 8th district citizens? The things are getting way too much out of control, expensive, and I think majority 8th district is a more part of the Cook County, and there is a way too much heavy tax on the property, business property, and residential property. A lot of people has a problem with a MAGA movement, and business are suffering. There are many MAGA favor people are not going to the Indian businesses somehow, and some other minority businesses. So what is your thought about it? If you become the congressman, how are you going to support this?
See, I think the mindset of MAGA was initially started to make America great again. That was the mindset. But if you today go around the world and ask, in fact, whether this country is still the beacon of hope, I think we would get various different answers, such as they do not look at America as the beacon of hope, whether it is through wars, whether we have done tariffs on various countries at whatever levels the president thought it was appropriate, 50%, 60%, 100% in some cases, all of a sudden, just to get personal favors. So affordability, and who paid for that, right? Who paid for those tariffs? American people. It was not blue or red. Everybody paid for it. You wanted to get a shoe, you wanted to get a gas in your tank. All parties or both sides of the people paid for it,
Yes.
right? Tariffs were meant to use for political diplomacy, not as a sword to enrich one person or one family. Should not have been used that way. Interest rates has been consistently at around 7.5, 8. Now we are probably around just 6 plus. I think we should have got that way under control, because our economy works within a certain framework, and the framework works better when interest and money is around 2.5, 3.5%. Your paychecks are designed based on that kind of affordability, right? And when that goes out of toss, families cannot afford housing, they cannot afford groceries, they cannot afford, because the tariffs, the interest rates being so high for so level. At the same time, and again, I'm not trying to do party politics, but when the big beautiful bill got passed, we sent $3 trillion, not 3 billion. It was 3 trillion, which is almost $3,000 billion moved to another side of a spectrum. So the fight right now is between the 1% of the 1%ers and the rest of the 99 percenters. So that's the fight we are having. It's not the ideological fight. It's more about the billionaires designing. And we have seen in our races currently, money is coming and playing. I would like to address that topic a little separately, but money is being pumped in. So by congressmen to represent their agendas. So at the end of it, what happens? The corporations are winning to represent and shape the policies based on the politicians they want to choose. So affordability needs to be brought. So very simplistically, bring the interest rates as down to 3 and 4% when money is cheap. It's really not that we have the biggest printing press in the world. Number one. Number two, we want to make sure that tariffs are sensible so that American people don't have to pay for that extra 20, 30, 40% because we do not produce much of the things that we consume.
Absolutely.
We meaning all sides of the spectrum,
All
right?
sides.
From all sides of the spectrum. When somebody walks into a convenience store or a restaurant, it's both sides walk in and they're both paying high prices.
Yes.
And take away the tariffs, have it sensible, get the interest rates down to it. And then in my district, as we have seen, Nirav, we have lost companies like Motorola, Sears, Ameritech. None of those companies have come back. Remember, Schaumburg and O'Hare and around the areas where South Asian communities have come were because of these companies.
Yes.
If you ask a generation before us, they came because Motorola was here. You ask something before because Sears was here. Biggest airport, O'Hare was there. It's still there, but what we need to do is double down on that. I come from a business background. I'm not a politician from profession. I'm more as a businessman first. I solve problems looking at common sense approach, out of the box thinking. So we would go to other parts of the world and invite those companies from Korea, China, Japan. And you've seen the 8th district is a home to those, home to all of these. You've seen so many different restaurants that is seen only in this district, whether it's Korean restaurants, whether it's Chinese and Japanese. We find all of them in this. And of course, Indians. We are blessed to have Pani Puri and Vada Pav in the same town, and Pan, which is very rare to get in other parts of the country. So this is our home, and that's why we want to protect it and make it sensible. So I want to bring those jobs back. I want to bring so that when you bring those jobs, it helps other businesses. As they say, if there is one earning person, it affects and helps 5 or 7 indirect workers. So we need to bring that back.
Okay. Another quick question is, what federal priorities would you set for yourself in the first year in Congress if you get elected? And a quick question also, what would you do to bring the bears back to your district?
So I wish I would have had the power. What is happening is the fight between the state and the city and trying to, we are losing a great team to a neighboring districts. So I don't want to blame it, but it's essentially state not taking responsibility for its obligations to make sure that we keep these teams, we keep our businesses within our country, not let them go to a neighboring state. And I understand that there is a politics about giving what do you call that, freebies, some amount of tax concessions and all that. But in a bigger picture, the team being here makes more profitable sense. And when we have a stadium, we have an Arlington Heights race course, which is pretty much closed down, to make that as a home to bears. I think nothing better than that would have happened. And for the entire district around here, in fact, that stadium does fall into our 8th district. In my district, I would say, and if I had been given a chance, I would say keep them here, because from that you could develop much more development from just keeping bears here. I don't know if there was a second question before that.
Yeah, I'm going to ask that again in a different way.
Yeah.
So just make it like your election pitch, basically. So this is going to be, what is your top priority, number one priority for the district, for the state of Illinois, and for the nation? So this will be your election pitch. Say, yeah, this is my marching order for myself. That's my top priority for the district, for the state, and for the nation.
Correct. I think the first and the foremost priority that I would be having is to take care of my seniors. The seniors where they depend on paying for groceries versus medicines, or having to pay rent versus having groceries at home. We need to make sure their healthcare, and I call it as earned benefits are Social Security and Medicare, which they have paid into. That cannot be touched. That cannot be doubled up, or the prices cannot change for them at this age. essentially when they paid back in their early years. So that's number one priority for me. Make them stable. As we say, we have respect for elders. So make sure that they are stable, number one. And followed by that, I would want to ensure that at the state level, that I could bring as much funds as possible for infrastructure development, as much possible for more modern research and education. Today we need to focus how to use AI, not fight with AI. It's going to become a reality. We cannot fight. We rather would want to work with it, take advantage of it, and make sure we can export AI and its uh, agents, or the technology, to other parts of the world. And this has been a home to the first cell phone company. Remember Motorola, right? It was the first cell phone company in Schaumburg. So we can make it happen. We can make it. I made a pitch in Elgin, having a public private partnership to make sure we are home to the next solar panels, we are home to the next EV chargers and EV infrastructure. And followed by that, we want to work on humanoids, to produce the human robots which will be used for day-to-day working. And we want to work with them. And for the country, I think we want to make sure, as a country, we are the most welcoming country. Of course, I have never said keep an open border. I have never said to allow criminals into the country. We came legally. We came through the front door. We respected the law, waited till our time came for citizenship. I would want everybody to go through that front door, to make sure that America is still welcoming. It is still a home for the best and the brightest in the world, to come here. And I think we should make that welcoming again.
So much.
Thank you so much, Neil. I think you did fit for the right candidate of the 8th district. Our full supports are with you, and as well as the community. I wherever I go, I always heard about you. So we have a big hope from you that you will get elected, and you make the change in the district, you make the change in the state, and you make the change on our nations and the policies of the nation. We all Indians, we do great for the nation. We always stand with United States at any kind of bad condition happen, like a COVID or any flood or anything. The good part about the India is India never attack any other country. We never burnt anybody home. Not a single Indian has bombed any country, any buses or any theater or any restaurant. And our thoughts are different way. Uh, how you think you can defend the drugs from the school and from the kids in the district and in the state, or from the or in the state?
Now, that's a very fantastic thing, or a very important question when we are having opioid crisis in the country, and you're having kids in the school having access to drugs which are never meant to be even given to adults, right? I have a son, 11-year-old. I think this is exactly where the role of ICE was. This is why ICE was created, to stop drug trafficking across the countries, fentanyl trafficking, kids being kidnapped, or sorry to say, underage children being used for sex trafficking and all that. That was the main purpose what ICE was there for. That was their primary responsibility, apart from keeping the border safe. So we have now lost the focus from there to saying, okay, let's take certain immigrants out of the country in any shape possible and form. And that's where the focus has been shifted. We need to bring ICE. I am currently professing, or at least suggesting, that ICE in its current form should be abolished. It needs to be repurposed so that our kids are safe in school. We don't want country going through opioid crisis, which is another form of drugs. And then we have seen that even after so much war on drugs has failed, it's just because the focus is not there, or the intention is not there. I think that needs to be brought back, so that our kids are safe, our country is safe, and we don't have any such problems. So we have an agency, I think, that should be repurposed correctly, so we can bring safety and peace and stability.
Great.
Well, thank you very much, Neil, for being with us. I know you have had a busy schedule and a long day, and you must be tired and all. And so
No, thank
hopefully
you.
we'll get to talk to you again when you are a congressman.
No, I think that this was my lucky last day, one of the Zoom calls I'm doing. Pretty much 2 days are left. Tomorrow is Sunday. Please tell your friends and voters, anybody in the 8 district, any of your Facebook groups on and WhatsApp groups. I really request just send them a flyer. I can send a couple requests and the flyers to Amitabh and Nirav. Just spread it among the people. No matter what, we can always fight as Democrats and Republicans for rest of our life. We can fight as blues and reds. There is never ending to that. This the guy did that, and that president this. It's going to be continuously happening. But for today, uh, we have a task at our hand, and the task is get our minority representation up, and then we can constantly keep having policy disagreements. That's just part of being in any system, any democracy. Always you will have those differences. But if we can get our person, if we can get our who can represent us, who understands our struggles, who understands what it means visa. For other parts of the community, visas are not even part of the discussion because they never had to go through visa as a word. They have the visa card, not the visa as a permit to come in any part of the world. So I request everybody to just go out and vote. Early voting is fantastic. Sunday, it's less. I heard that Monday and Tuesday are going to be bad weather, 6 inches of snow, and 10 and 11 degrees of temperature. Tomorrow would be a great day if everybody can go out and vote. I think that will be a great job done for all of us.
And where can people go to find out more about you and if they need to donate?
It's as simple as Neil for Congress, NEIL for Congress.com. And you'll find the new polling locations. You'll find a link to donate. And you'll read about my priorities. It will give you what latest I have been up to. And same thing, it has my Facebook, Insta, as well as Twitter handle on there, what I've been involved. I've been very glad in the last 10 days. I got a chance to visit a lot of our temples, Gurudwara, church, as well as mandirs. And they have done tremendously, progress has happened where they're open to talk politics. I think that's a great achievement for our community when temples get involved. I'm not saying that they need to become a political institution, but they should give support to the community that is very minority, because representation matters finally. So I'm very glad of that.
Wonderful to hear that. And so thank you very much for being with us and good luck. Best wishes.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you so much, Nirav.
Thank you, Neil.
Amitabh.
Thank you for being here. Good luck.
Yes. Thank you.